Hey everyone, welcome back to the Business Communications class. Today we will get to learn how to prepare and deliver business presentations. As we talked before, employers consider oral communication the most important skill in new hires, yet only 24% of graduates excel at this skill. One of the most challenging forms of oral communication is making a business presentation. If you become a successful presenter, you will stand out in the crowd. In this chapter, you will learn how to develop and deliver effective business presentations. It is one of the most challenging forms of oral communication in the workplace. You can use the ACE process to do the following. Number 1. Analyze when planning a business presentation. Number 2. Compose and deliver the presentation. Number 3. Evaluate audience response. What questions will we be answering today? We will be answering these today. What do you analyze when planning a business presentation? How do you compose the presentation? How do you deliver and evaluate the presentation? How do you handle questions and answers? How do you adapt your approach for online presentation? What do you analyze when planning for a business presentation? Apply the ACE process to develop a business presentation using a fictional business example, a human resources employee, or in this case, the student is tasked with preparing and delivering a presentation that addresses the business question. What is the cause of high turnover and low productivity at one of the company call centers, and what can be done about it? First things first, analyze your purpose and outcome. The purpose can be determined by the question, why is this presentation being delivered? And the outcome can be determined, what is the intended result of this presentation? Let us learn 4 possible general outcomes for the presentation. Do I want my audience to know something? Then my presentation will be informational. For example, as a result of my presentation, my audience will know why the call center turnover is so high and understand how glare leads to a headache. Similarly, if we want the audience to believe something or do something, it comes under the category persuasive. If we want the audience to know how to do something, it comes under the category instructional. And if we want the audience to work together with me to reach an answer, it comes under the category collaborative. Like always, we need to analyze our audience. Here is a chart that lists questions that will help understand the audience. The audience analysis questions are as follows. Number 1. Who are the key players? Like, who are the key decision makers and important stakeholders whose response will affect your success? Number 2. What do the key players care about? Like, what are their key questions and concerns? Attitudes and values? Personal agendas and hot buttons? Number 3. How will the key players benefit? Like, how will the outcome or ideas you are presenting connect to what they care about? For example, will your ideas save money or time, resolve a pressing issue, or achieve a strategic objective? Number 4. What does the audience already know about the situation or topic? How much context do they need? Number 5. How do they feel about you and your topic? Like, how much credibility do you have? What is their attitude toward your topic? Number 6. What does the audience need or expect from you in this presentation? Like, do their expectations match your intentions, or will you need to reset their expectations? Number 7. How far do you need to move your audience before they act? Where do they fall on this continuum? A. Unaware of the issue, B. Aware of the issue, C. Understand the issue, D. Believe it is worth addressing, E. Care about addressing it, F. Ready to act? Here is how you can analyze your message. Ask yourself, what is the one thing you want the audience to remember from this presentation? Your main message should take the audience's point of view, address a problem, concern, or need that your audience cares about, present your solution and highlight what the audience will gain from that solution, explicitly or implicitly lead your audience to the outcome you intend. Here is what to do to analyze your setting. Before you prepare slides or select other visual aids, ask yourself, will you be standing to present slides, or will you be sitting with others around a table or a computer looking at small screens or printouts? Will you be using your own computer to present slides and other visuals, or will you need to use equipment that is already in the room? Will your audience be looking at your presentation on a computer screen at a remote location and listening via computer or telephone? Analyzing our medium choices is important. A chart here shows criteria that can help to make smart choices about the best medium and presentation tools. For example, in the purpose and content-related criteria, encouraging the audience to collaborate, interact and create content, we can use flipcharts, whiteboards, or props, and handouts. And in audience and setting-related criteria, if we want to present to a large audience in a large room, we can use media like slides, document cameras and handouts. So, how do you compose the presentation? A continuum that is shown here shows 7-step process for developing effective slide presentations. Process for designing slide presentations are as follows. Number 1. Identify the type of presentation. Number 2. Organize the content. Number 3. Create a storyboard. Number 4. Develop a template. Number 5. Design individual slides. Number 6. Evaluate in a practice session. Number 7. Create effective handouts. Identify the type of presentation. A standalone presentation makes sense to readers without the benefit of the presenter. The components are: agenda slide, which communicates main ideas and logic. Message headlines, which summarize the key point of each slide. Supporting material on the body of the slide, which develops and explains the headline. A visual aid presentation provides illustration and graphic support, while the speaker's words carry the main story orally. Let us look at the next slide. Share stories with the widest possible audience. Here we see that photos of many men and women from different communities together making flag of Canada. This image shows unity without even speaking a word. Organize the content. Remember that, compose an opening that engages the audience. Your main goals are to establish rapport with your audience, to get them thinking with you, capture the audience's attention with a surprising fact, relevant story, quote, or question, motivate your audience to care, showing them what's in it for them. Provide a map or framework, what's the agenda? Organize the middle of the presentation to be easy to understand. Remember to focus on points that are meaningful to the audience. Limit the number of main points you include. And make the relationship between points clear. In simpler words, present your information using a recognizable pattern. Present information using a recognizable pattern. Your audience will find it easier to follow your information if they can recognize the pattern of your thinking. Look at the number of patterns in the table shown here and in the next slide. Although several approaches are feasible, perhaps the best one is the problem solution or motivated sequence pattern, because this pattern is likely to be effective in motivating the audience. Whether you choose one of these organizational patterns or a different one, be sure it fits your objective and the material you need to present. Remember to use keywords that make the pattern obvious to your audience so that they understand your approach. In other words, if you are using a problem-solution pattern, use those words in your presentation. Whether you choose one of these organizational patterns or a different one, be sure it fits your objective and the material you need to present. Remember to use keywords that make the pattern obvious to your audience so that they understand your approach. In other words, if you are using a problem-solution pattern, use those words in your presentation. Compose a memorable conclusion. Summarize your main message. Ask for what you want. Visualize the outcome for the audience. And make the next steps clear. According to the recency effect, the conclusion is the last thing the audience hears, so it may be the first thing they remember days or weeks later. Create a storyboard. A storyboard is a slide-by-slide sketch of the presentation used to organize its flow. Develop a template. Keep slide design simple so the audience can focus on your message. Use a slide master to design your template. Use sold backgrounds. Use contrasting color for text. Use a consistent color palette. Use simple bullets. Use a coherent set of fonts. Keep font sizes consistent on all slides. Position headlines appropriately. Include slide numbers. Let us look at the title slide and body slide on Slide Master for a presentation. This is a perfect template for the presentation we were making in the scenario we first talked about. Use coherent and consistent fonts. Presentations typically use a single serif or sans serif font. Serif fonts have extra tails at the end of each character. Sans serif fonts do not have extra tails. Once you have selected your font or font family, you can use style variations such as italic and bold. In the example here, we can see variations on the same font. Make sure bullet lists are parallel. Here, we see ineffective and effective versions of slides to show before and after version of a slide that has been revised for parallelism. The annotations that appear point out how effective slide is better than the ineffective version. They are better because of two reasons: the way coding systems are categorized and the use of box at the bottom of the slide for information related to data collection. Transform text into shapes or diagrams that reveal relationships. Here is a sample diagram slide revised to show relationships. Ineffective and effective versions of slides are presented to show how a representative diagram will help your audience quickly see the relationships among ideas. So, how do we show data slides? We use graphs to show relationships between numbers and the meaning of data. Here, we see a quantitative data represented as a table in a graph. The table is ineffective because it doesn't help the audience visualize the data. The graph, however, is more effective because it conveys the message of the slide at a glance. Here we see one ineffective and one effective slide for presenting data. Let us see why the first graph is ineffective. Number 1. Headline does not identify the main idea of the slide, just a topic. Number 2. Graphic format does not clearly depict trends or meaningful relationships. Number 3. Diagonal labels are difficult to read. Now, let us see why the second graph is effective. Number 1. Message headline explains the main point of the slide. Number 2. Graphic format organizes the content from most to least market potential and orients the text horizontally for easier reading. Number 3. Box at the bottom of the slide presents a second significant point that the presenter can emphasize. Are animations effective? Animations are visual effects that control when and how elements appear on your slides while you present. Be consistent within the presentation. Be conservative. Do not overuse animations. When possible, show the whole picture or list first. Practice presenting with the animation. Let us discuss the Roland Gray standalone presentation. Here is an image containing 3 slides of it, with annotations applied for each. Number 1. First slide, the title slide resembles the title page of a formal report. Number 2. Second slide, the agenda slide previews the structure of the presentation, which follows a problem or solution pattern. Number 3. Third slide, message headlines summarize the key points of the slide. The content in the body develops the headline. Here we see another image containing 3 more slides from the Roland Gray standalone presentation. Let us take closer looks at the 3 slides. Number 1. First slide, this slide is designed to represent an equation, helping the audience see how the writer calculated the excess expenses from employee turnover. The box at the bottom refers to additional expenses that have not been calculated precisely. Number 2. Second slide with heading turnover might result from outdated computer monitors. After quantifying the problem, the presentation hypothesizes the cause of the problem, the computer monitors. Number 3. Third slide, agenda slide. The agenda slide reappears as a transition between 2 major sections. Highlighting on the slide indicates the current section. Create effective handouts. Handouts are documents distributed to the audience during or after the presentation. Here is how to create the most effective handouts. Select format that best fits your content. Choose an effective format for note-taking. Consider the impact of color. Proofread before copying. Make extra copies. And, finally, decide when to distribute your handouts. Here are more tips to create effective handouts. Here are 3 sample handout formats, with annotations applied for each. First format, slide miniature handouts. Slides 1 to 6 of Roland Gray slide presentation with markings. Things to remember are: Number 1. Replicate the slides in reduced form. Number 2. Are used for stand-alone and report deck presentations. Number 3. May not be legible if font sizes are small. Let us look at the second format, which are slides with notes pages. Slide for employee turnover 38% higher in call centers than in stores with markings. Things to remember are: Number 1. Replicate 1 slide per page. Number 2. Include additional notes for each slide. Number 3. These are used for presentations that require explanation. Let us look at the third format, supplementary information handouts. Handout for proposal to reduce employee turnover in call centers with markings. Things to remember are: Number 1. Many include additional detailed tables, spreadsheets, appendices, or resources. Number 2. These are used for presentations that benefit from additional documentations. Number 3. All handouts include header with title and name, contact information, and page numbers. Let us talk about technology. How to use hyperlinks to customize presentations. We can use hyperlinks to link to appendices, create navigation, connect to a website, launch other files, support interaction. 5. How do you deliver and evaluate the presentation? The only way to become a good presenter is to practice often and well. 6. Set the stage. Practice, out loud. Dress for the part. Arrive early and warm up. Set up all equipment and props. Decide where you will stand. Keep the lights up and attention on you. And always have water available. So how do you meet audience expectations from different cultures? When presenting to audiences from other cultures, you may need to make adjustments. Think about the variations in preparation and timeliness. Introductions. Speed and pace. Body language and eye contact. Dress code. Language and tone. Reading the audience. Here are a few tips. Try role-playing a short presentation. Demonstrate how presentation would change depending on the cultural expectations of the audience. You may need to do a bit of research for cultures not specified here. Control your body. Look confident and professional during your presentation. Start from a ready position to control body movements. Maintain good eye contact with your audience. Smile. And animate with body language. Use your voice effectively. Speak to the back of the room. Speak slowly, especially at the beginning of the presentation. Modulate your voice. Minimize verbal tics like, okay, and you know. Use pauses, a remedy for the ers and ums. Present your visuals effectively. Introduce each visual by explaining your intended point. Direct attention to visuals with hand gestures and words. Take cues from your visuals and avoid note cards or a script. Do not apologize for nervousness or mistakes. Coming back to ethics, what is the difference between plagiarism and repurposing? Here are a few questions to explore. Does your workplace have an IP policy for visual images? Can you show pictures you have taken? Is it acceptable for your presentation to include a photo found on the internet? Do you need to acknowledge the source? If you purchase a license to use a presentation photo from a digital media source such as Getty Images or Corbis Images, do you need to acknowledge the source? Here are a few more questions to explore. If other people in your company or organization have created effective slides, is it acceptable to use those slides in your business presentation? Do you need to acknowledge the source? If you find a slide template that you like on the web, is it acceptable to copy that slide template if you do not copy any of the content? If you include other people's work in your presentation, for example, data from another source that has been converted to a graph, how do you acknowledge it? Coordinate with your team. Take advantage of everyone's strengths. Decide how you will handle introductions. Practice transitions from person to person. Let your teammates speak. Correct a teammate only when necessary. Be prepared to present other teammates' slides. Evaluate the audience's response. Listen to audience feedback while you present, pausing between sections and asking questions. Reflect on your audience's overall response. How do you handle questions and answers? Plan for a question and answer (Q&A) session. Anticipate questions and plan short answers. Brainstorm potential audience questions. Map out answers in your head. Keep your answers short. Wait for follow-up questions before giving more detail. Decide how your team will handle questions. Assign one team member to facilitate the Q&A session. Allow team members to decide whether a question falls under their designated area. Set up the Q&A session in your introduction. Answer questions skillfully. Give a three-part answer. Number 1. Restate the question. Number 2. Give headline responses. Number 3. Have I answered your question? Break long and complex questions into parts. Be honest. Avoid being defensive or dismissive. How do you adapt your approach for online presentations? Live online presentation can be a virtual presentation at an online meeting, or a webinar, or a webcast. It can also be an audio or video podcast. Here are a few types of online presentations. Number 1. Virtual presentations are live presentations at an online meeting. Number 2. Webinars are interactive web-based seminars with a live audience. Number 3. Webcasts are non-interactive, web-based seminar broadcasts over the internet to an audience who logs in or registers for that event. Number 4. A podcast is an audio or video presentation recorded without an audience and distributed through the internet. Manage the audience experience by addressing their needs. Ensure your audience has connectivity. Make a plan for controlling what your audience sees on their screens. Open the meeting early and put a welcome slide on your computer screen. Use a webcam or provide a picture to help establish rapport. Use good telephone etiquette. Engage the audience with voice and screen movement. Invite questions frequently during interactive online presentations. Keep the pace lively. To facilitate a lively pace, divide slide material into smaller chunks. Here, we see 3 slides to illustrate breaking of long content into small chunks for online delivery. In a podcast, provide content that offers lasting value. As external communication, podcasts can substitute newsletters or marketing materials. However, as internal communication, podcasts can update and engage employees on company news. Choose the best medium for your audience, content, and purpose. Commit to a regular schedule so listeners will know when to expect your content. Choose content that will be relevant for a long time. Make your podcast easy to find. Write a script and practice. Let's rewind what we have learned so far. In the Analyze section, we learn why to understand our purpose and desired outcome clearly, who, to know our audience and their needs and expectations, what to understand our content thoroughly, where, to examine the setting, to modify our message and delivery if needed, how to select the best possible delivery channel based on all of the earlier points. Next we have the Compose section, where we learn to organize our content using an outline or storyboard technique. We must use templates for consistency. We also need to ensure our handouts are effective and clear. We can use a professional voice or appropriate non-verbal language. We can create responses for anticipated audience questions. Lastly, we have the Evaluate section. In this we learn to pay close attention to our audience's responses as we present, adjust delivery, tone or other aspects as needed. We have to evaluate visuals before the actual presentation for errors and effectiveness. We also have to assess after completion for elements of the presentation that are effective and elements that could have been improved. We must incorporate improvements into our next opportunity.